There are a lot of reasons why people are getting into meal prep lately. I'm sure you know the economy is in shambles and people don't want to eat out as much. Along with that, people are really trying to embrace more consciousness in their lifestyles. This goes as far as plant-based eating, this goes towards meal prep, and this also goes towards making sure you're eating seasonally and locally grown foods. There are a ton of reasons why people are getting into meal prep. I want to know what your reason for getting into meal prep is in the comments. But today I'm going to give you some practical advice about how we can optimize meal prep so that we're not cooking every single day of the week, that we're simply reheating leftovers and spending one day doing something called batch prepping. So what is batch prepping? Batch prepping and meal prepping involve making sure you have enough food at home all the time so that you don't have to keep eating out or keep going for convenient food options. Meal prepping is a great way to make sure you're being more sustainable with your eating habits, as it's obviously very unsustainable to eat out constantly. There's more packaging, there's more food waste, and there's more emissions involved in eating out. And it is a lot healthier for your family oftentimes to eat at home because of the high sodium in restaurant foods, as well as some other factors. My favorite way to meal prep is doing one batch prep day per week and then adding on little meal preps throughout the week. So, for example, on Sundays, before I have to get ready for the entire week of food, I like to go grocery shopping and decide what I'm going to be feeding my household of two for the entire week. I usually like to cook one big pot that I can eat for 4 or 5 days. I'll meal prep several salads, and then I'll also meal prep some sides. So, an example for this would be meal prepping curry. I love dishes like curry and chili as my bases for my meal prep, and then I like to do a few other dishes around that. I always think it's a really good idea to prep a huge salad and leave off the dressing. Some of my salads are probably not like the salads you've had because we're putting in things like roasted sweet potatoes, cooked quinoa, seeds and nuts and grains. We really want to make sure they're high protein, and we also want to embrace something called eating the rainbow. Eating the rainbow is making sure you're getting color in every one of your meals. Each of the colors that we can see in these foods corresponds to different amino acids. And to make sure you're getting all of the amino acids that you need in a day, it's really simple. You just need to make sure you eat every color. I love doing meal prep with completely whole foods plant-based options. I do also use mushrooms as well, but we're really focused on making sure we're eating lots of seasonal root vegetables, leafy greens, fruit, and other vegetables. So for the mornings, I love to have smoothies every morning, but sometimes it can be a bit of a hassle to figure out what to put in your smoothie. Simple trick to this is to meal prep your smoothie ingredients. You can buy a pineapple or two and chop those up, peel and chop up some oranges, peel and chop up some apples, or leave the peels on. It's up to you. I prefer peels on. Chop up some kiwis and then add these to freezer safe containers that include some hemp seeds, chia seeds, or flax seeds, or all of the above to make your own protein base. And then you just throw the frozen fruit into the blender with your favorite plant based milk, and you can put some peanut butter as well. Making sure you're chopping and freezing your own fruit at home is much cheaper than buying the freezer bags of fruit. I would highly recommend. I mean, one pineapple at the store is going to give you the same amount of fruit as a bag of frozen pineapple chunks. That frozen pineapple chunk bag can be anywhere from $15 to $20, whereas a pineapple on its own might be $3 to $4 depending on the season. Stuff like this is really geared towards making sure you're being sustainable in your personal finances, and it's also better to reduce packaging by buying less frozen items. Another way I like to meal prep is through overnight oats and chia pudding. So, overnight oats and chia seed pudding are pretty similar in that instead of cooking a porridge or oatmeal or something like this, we actually soak these grains. So, we'll either soak chia seeds or oats in our favorite plant-based milk, something like coconut milk or oat milk to keep it really thick and creamy, and adding in our sweeteners, our favorite protein, seeds, and some additional flavorings of choice. A few overnight oats examples I like is rolled oats soaked in coconut milk, adding diced apples, cinnamon, and granola. That way, in the mornings, you'll be able to eat that right away, and you can prep this up to 3 days in advance, and it'll get a little bit softer in the fridge, but it won't go bad. You can also do a similar method with chia seed pudding, where you soak chia seeds in your favorite plant-based milk, add in agave for sweetness. You can add in some chopped up mango, chopped kiwi, chopped strawberries, other fruits that you enjoy, and top it off with some seeds. These are going to be super quick breakfast. You can put it in a mason jar or any glass sealable jar. You can take them on the go, or you can eat them when you wake up and not have to worry about making your breakfast. So for meal prepping breakfast, I do like to do overnight oats, chia seed pudding, and smoothies. However, you can also meal prep a big batch of tofu scramble. You can use 1 or 2 blocks of extra firm tofu to make this tofu scramble that then you can use and just reheat all week. You can put it on toast, you can eat it on its own, or you can heat up some other things to go with it, like vegan sausage. Now that we've got breakfast covered, let's talk about salads and lunch. So I always think a power bowl or a nourish bowl, something super nourishing with lots of leafy greens, is one of the best things you can do to have your midday meal. For this, I like to meal prep a big salad. Sometimes I'll do it with roasted chickpeas, sometimes I'll do it with sweet potatoes, and I really like to make sure I'm adding in root vegetables, grains, lots of leafy greens, usually some dried fruits and nuts, and making sure I keep the dressing separately until the day I'm going to eat it. Keeping the dressing separate is what's absolutely going to make that salad last longer in the fridge. Remember, the goal of batch prepping and meal prepping is spending only 1 or 2 days per week with several hours in the kitchen, so that every other day of the week you can just pop something in the microwave or in the oven to heat it up, or you can eat it right out of the fridge. These salads can be eaten warm or cold. The best way I found to do it is layer a base of leafy greens. If you're going to do kale, make sure you massage a little bit of oil into your kale. Top of that with some roasted chickpeas or sweet potatoes. You can also do something like bulgur wheat or brown rice. Really want to make sure that we're getting our textures up in the salad to keep it interesting so we don't get bored of eating it for a few days. So you can also do some other grains like couscous or amaranth. After you prep a big batch of sweet potatoes, chickpeas, and couscous, we're going to mix all of that together in the salad with some dried cranberries, some hemp seeds, and some other seeds. And we'll top it off with some nutritional yeast and some garlic powder for flavor. And then, of course, we'll meal prep a big batch of our favorite dressing. I love using a tahini lemon dressing, which is super easy to meal prep. It's only 4 ingredients, and you can use that jar all week and it will not go bad. You can also meal prep your favorite vinaigrette dressing or just add that as the day comes to eat that salad. So now we've covered breakfast, we've covered lunch, and the last thing we want to cover for our meal prep is what are we going to eat for dinner? We want to make this the most nourishing, the most filling, the most flavorful meal of the day. And my favorite way to do that is through either something like a chili or something like a curry. These are going to be really high protein dishes. So with my curries, I love to do a lot of tofu, chickpeas, mushrooms, as well as grains and different vegetables like potatoes, carrots, onions, really nice aromatics. We'll do a huge batch of this. I usually use my Instant Pot, which doubles as a pressure cooker, so it actually doesn't take that long to cook, and I'll make enough for 5 or 6 days for 2 people. You can make it last 4 to 5 days in the fridge, or if you need it to last any longer than that, I would suggest freezing it and then defrosting it. One thing I do want to note is you don't want to leave cooked rice or cooked grains for too long in the fridge. Always try to eat those first, or alternatively, you can cook fresh rice with your meals so that all you have to do is heat up the chili or curry and cook some rice to go along with it. It is so easy to meal prep, and one of the most amazing things about meal prepping is you'll discover a lot more about yourself and your creativity in the kitchen. There are some things that you're going to realize aren't as difficult as you thought they were. And especially since we're entering this new era of frugality, of making sure we are watching how we spend our money because the economy is very, very questionable right now. It's so important to look at our eating habits and be mindful of how we can shift them to better align with our lifestyle and the lifestyle we desire. Meal prepping does not have to be hard. It doesn't have to be some huge chore. You can do it in less than 3 hours a week. And if you want to know how I do it step by step, you can check out Sunny's Meal Prep Master Plan. It's a completely vegan master plan of how I meal prep for 30 days every month. I try to switch up the recipes each week so we're not eating the same thing week after week, and it'll focus on meal prepping only 1 day per week to have food for the rest of the week. It's on sale right now, and if you're watching this video, I'm also going to give you a special discount. You can enter Sunny25 in the coupon code area of the checkout below. So definitely check out Sunny's Meal Prep Master Plan and let me know in the comments, what are your favorite things to meal prep? What am I missing here? What do you really want to see me cook? Anything that you are interested in, let me know. And if you want more access to free recipes and to see a little bit more of the inside of how I live my vegan lifestyle, you can join my free community on School. It's called the Plant Powered Path, and we're tackling everything from plant-based challenges to 7-day salad challenges to how can we restore harmony with people and the planet in a way that also fuels compassion and love in our own lives. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment, and subscribe to Vegan Sunny.